The year is 1250. A stone castle rises above the countryside, its towers bristling with archers, banners fluttering in the wind. Below, an army unlike anything the Middle Ages has ever seen is preparing for war. 20,000 armored knights, a sea of steel and banners, advancing with the thunder of hooves and the clash of weapons. Inside the castle, however, history has been rewritten. Because instead of medieval defenders, the fortress is guarded by just one company of modern Navy SEALs. Fewer than 100 men, armed with rifles, night vision goggles, drones, explosives, and the training of one of the world's most elite military units. The question is simple, yet terrifying. Could these modern warriors hold the castle against 20,000 knights of the Middle Ages? Let's find out. First, let's set the stage. The knights of the 13th century are the most feared warriors of their age. They ride heavy war horses, wear chainmail or plate armor, and fight with swords, lances, and crossbows. They are disciplined, proud, and backed by sheer numbers. 20,000 knights charging at once would shake the earth like an earthquake. On the other side, the Navy SEALs bring modern firepower. Each SEAL carries an assault rifle, grenades, and sidearms. They have sniper rifles for long-range precision, explosives to control choke points, radios for instant communication, and perhaps most importantly, night vision and drones that give them awareness far beyond anything medieval armies could dream of. But numbers matter. And here, the knights outnumber the SEALs 200 to 1. So how would the battle unfold? The attack begins at dawn. A trumpet blares, war drums pound, 20,000 knights begin their march toward the castle walls. Dust rises like smoke as their armor glints in the sun. Siege towers and battering rams roll forward, built of timber and iron, pulled by oxen and men. But the SEALs are ready. Instead of boiling oil or catapults, they unleash the weapons of the modern age. Snipers on the battlements open fire first. Through high-powered scopes, they pick off the commanders riding at the front. One bullet, one target. Armored or not, the knights fall from their horses instantly. Confusion spreads through the ranks. The knights have faced arrows, bolts, and stones before, but nothing like this. Death striking with invisible speed, faster than sound, unstoppable. As the vanguard slows, the SEALs escalate. Machine guns thunder from the walls. Thousands of rounds pour into the massed knights, cutting down men and horses alike. Where arrows might bounce off armor, modern bullets punch through steel like paper. The front lines collapse into chaos as knights scramble for cover that doesn't exist. But the knights do not stop. For them, retreat is dishonor. Thousands more surge forward, determined to overwhelm the defenders by sheer numbers. Siege towers roll closer. Men with ladders rush the walls. The SEALs switch tactics. Grenades arc through the air, exploding in fire and steel, tearing apart groups of men in an instant. Claymore mines, hidden at choke points, detonate with devastating effect, mowing down entire waves of attackers. And then comes the real game changer: air support, drones. A swarm of quadcopters rises into the sky, each carrying cameras and, in some cases, small explosives. The knights stare upward, confused and terrified by the buzzing machines. The drones swoop down, dropping charges on siege engines, setting them ablaze. Towers collapse, battering rams explode into splinters, and the attackers are thrown into further disarray. To the knights, it seems like sorcery. Invisible thunderbolts strike from the walls, while mechanical birds rain fire from the sky. But here's the truth. Numbers still matter. Despite horrific losses, the sheer mass of 20,000 knights presses forward. Thousands are dead, but thousands more reach the base of the walls. Ladders slam against stone, hooks bite into battlements. The defenders are about to be swarmed. The SEALs know this. They abandon the outer walls and fall back into the castle interior, setting explosives as they go. When the first knights crest the parapets, the charges detonate, blasting sections of wall into rubble and burying attackers beneath stone and fire. The castle becomes a killing ground. Every courtyard, every gatehouse is rigged with traps. The SEALs use their radios to coordinate ambushes, luring knights into choke points and then cutting them down with automatic fire. Flashbangs blind and deafen attackers, leaving them helpless against precise strikes. Inside the narrow halls of the fortress, the knights' numbers count for nothing. Heavy armor becomes a burden. Long swords are useless in tight quarters. The SEALs' training in close-quarters combat gives them the advantage, clearing room after room with brutal efficiency. But the knights are relentless. Wave after wave crashes into the castle. For every 100 men who fall, another 100 takes their place. The ground outside is littered with bodies, but the knights' determination is unshaken. Eventually, numbers begin to wear down the defenders. Ammunition runs low. Rifles grow hot. The SEALs, though vastly superior in skill and technology, are only human. Fatigue sets in. Injuries mount. By nightfall, the castle is surrounded on all sides. Torches light up the countryside as far as the eye can see. The knights prepare for another assault, confident that sooner or later, sheer weight of numbers will break through. But the SEALs have one final advantage: night. With night vision goggles, the battlefield becomes theirs alone. While the knights stumble in darkness, the SEALs see with perfect clarity. Silent teams slip out of hidden gates, striking camps, sabotaging supplies, assassinating commanders. Explosions ripple through the besieging army, causing panic and chaos. By dawn, the knights are exhausted, demoralized, and leaderless. So who wins? On a purely tactical level, the Navy SEALs could kill thousands, perhaps tens of thousands of knights. Their weapons, training, and technology would make them nearly invincible in any direct fight. For every SEAL lost, hundreds of knights would fall. But strategy is more complicated. With only 100 men, ammunition and resources would eventually run out. Once their bullets and explosives were gone, the SEALs would be forced into hand-to-hand combat. Against overwhelming numbers, even the best modern soldiers would struggle. The real deciding factor might not be the battle itself, but psychology. Fear, confusion, and superstition could shatter morale long before sheer numbers carried the day. An army of 20,000 might break apart if its men believed they were fighting not humans, but something unstoppable. In the end, the SEALs could hold the castle, at least for a time. They might survive days, weeks, or even months, cutting down wave after wave of knights. But eventually, unless resupplied, their weapons would run dry. And when that day came, sheer medieval numbers would finally overwhelm them. Yet the deeper truth lies in what this scenario reveals. Technology is the great equalizer of war. A handful of modern soldiers, with the tools of today, could stand against thousands from the past. The knights' courage, honor, and numbers, while impressive, could not match precision rifles, explosives, and drones. It shows how much warfare has changed, and how terrifyingly efficient it has become. So, what if Navy SEALs defended a castle against 20,000 knights? The answer is both awe-inspiring and sobering. They could hold out, inflict unimaginable losses, and perhaps even break the will of their attackers. But in the end, even the most advanced warriors of the modern age cannot fight forever. And history reminds us of one thing: numbers, determination, and time will always play their part.